guys, it's Miss Burnett. I hope you're doing good. It is Sunday, and I've got a recording for you that I'm gonna make. Let's see here. So you'll need your math notebook that we just put together, and I use like Flair pens whenever I do like notebook work. I like to use like Flair pens to make my notebook work colorful. You do not need to have Flair pens, but if you have like any markers or colorful pens, sometimes it helps when we're working on our notebook because you can put things in different colors, things like that. Okay, so let me make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Wow. Okay. So open up to that first page, that table of contents, and we are going to start our first unit and start taking some notes. Our first unit is going to be geometry. So I just want you to write geometry. All right. And we're going to start on page 3. Okay. So geometry, page 3. Now turn the page and go to page 3. Right down there. Okay. We're going to start taking a few notes here. Now, the great thing about this recording is that anytime you get behind or you need me to slow down, you can always just hit pause and catch up. Okay. That's kind of why I'm doing some recordings. Okay. Our first geometry note, we're just going to very quickly go over area and perimeter. Okay. So at the top of my page, I'm going to write area. I'm going to change my colors. And if you don't want to make yours colorful and fancy, you do not have to. I just like color coding things. All right. So these are hopefully a couple of vocabulary words that you remember from 4th and 5th grade. All right. One of our biggest struggles when we get into our geometry unit is that kids still get them confused. They are, when I ask them to find the perimeter, they find the area instead, or the other way around. So I wanted to take some notes here so that as we're working through this unit, if you get confused on one or the other, you can always go back to your notes and you can look at them. Okay. So we're going to start with perimeter. I am going to draw a box and try to make yours look as close to mine as possible. I'm going to write perimeter inside the box. You remember what perimeter is? It's going to be the distance around a shape. Okay. Now I'm going to draw another box right next to it. Remember, you can always pause too and catch up and then start again. So perimeter, when we calculate that, it'll just be side now. This is assuming that it's a quadrilateral with 4 sides. Okay, you're just adding the sides together to find the perimeter. Okay. Now, if you have a triangle, you're not going to have 4 sides. You're going to have 3. If you have a pentagon, you'll have 5 sides. But I want you to write that just to kind of remember that you're adding the sides together to find the perimeter. Okay. I'm going to run out of room. Oh, got it. Okay. Add the sides together. Okay. Now we're going to make something a little bit fancier. Not super fancy, but we're going to draw a kind of a larger box in the middle of our page. Remember, if you don't have grid paper, it's totally cool. You can just make this on notebook paper. It'll be just fine. All right, so I have a large box in the middle of my page, okay? I'm going to take my blue marker because, and the reason I'm doing blue is because at the top of the page up here, I wrote perimeter in blue. All of my perimeter notes are in blue. And I am going to write the word perimeter all the way around the box. Uh-oh. Turn your page here. So I want you to go all the way around. Just like that, okay? And then I'm going to do a little arrow, just like that. Okay, so far so good. Remember, if you need to pause it, just pause it and get caught back up, okay? No big deal. Now, as you're taking these notes, if you have any questions, jot them down, and you can come back to our live class and ask me any questions, okay? Now, the first one was perimeter. Second one, area, okay? So we're actually going to go back down to the bottom down here, and I'm going to do purple. Notice at the top of the page, I wrote area in purple. I'm going to keep my purple marker, my purple flare pen, and I'm going to roll with that. I'm going to do a box down here. Try to make it exactly. Remember, it doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, I've got a box at the bottom. Area is going to be the space that a shape covers. Okay, I'm going to write a little bit more here, so I'm going to write a little smaller so I don't run out of room. Now, the other thing that I want to write is that it's measured in square units. And we'll talk a lot about that in the next couple of weeks, okay? So if you're kind of like, Miss Burnett, what does that mean? We're going to go over that in more detail, but I definitely want to write that down, okay? Measured in square units. Beautiful. All right, let's make the rest of our box over here. Now, when we find that area, I bet you remember. Area is going to be length times width. Now, that's of a square or a rectangle. All right, when you get into like the area of a triangle, the area of a trapezoid, things like that, it's not quite as simple as length times width, which is one of the things that we're gonna cover in this first unit, geometry unit. But what they really want you to take away from that is just remembering that when we're doing the area, you're multiplying the length times the width together, okay? So the other thing that some people like to do is, sometimes you can count the units that a shape covers, or I'm going to run out of room here, so I might have to go outside my little box. That's okay. Multiply the sides. Okay, now we got to go back to our box in the middle. I'm going to keep my keeping my purple theme here. I'm going to write the word area in big letters. Now I'm going to do bubble letters. You don't have to do bubble letters unless you feel confident in your bubble letters. But I'm going to write area in big letters for the middle of our box here. You do not have to write it the same way I do. But I do want area written big in the middle of your box. Okay. Just like that. So the idea behind this visual is that we can see that the perimeter takes up the outside of our rectangle and the area is the space in the middle, in the inside. I'm going to take an arrow and draw from the inside down here to show that area goes with what's down here. Okay. All right. We're going to do a little bit more work with this today. And on your Wednesday, Thursday class, we'll be working with this. We're going to be adding on to the notebook. You guys are going to be drawing me some examples of rectangles that have certain areas and perimeters. Okay, so make sure you follow all the instructions for this assignment. If you need to go back and watch this video over, you can do that. Okay. Before we stop, let's do one more just to be good here. Okay. Go ahead and turn to the next page. Okay. I'm going to go to page 5. I don't like to work on the back of pages. I like to keep working on like the front if I feel like my notebook has enough pages to work with, especially with my Flair pens. Sometimes they bleed through. So we're going to go to page 5. Okay. I want you to draw me a rectangle. Take your time. Now, you may not have grid paper, okay? And that's totally fine if you don't have grid paper. We're going to label the sides 9, and I'm going to put U for units. And then this other side is 9 units. Okay. Now I'm going to label the top and the bottom.
You're ready. Put this up and you'll be ready to go. Okay, good. Okay, here.
17 units. And then 17 units. Okay.
I need to get some. I'm gonna get some people to watch you get married. Okay. These guys are gonna watch you get married. Okay. No, with that.
Sorry, my daughters are playing.
Watch get married.
I think they're playing wedding.
Bride, okay?
Where they're pretending to get married.
Second married.
All right, so we know that perimeter is going to be the distance around the outside. Okay. If you go back and look at your notes, perimeter is when we're adding all the sides together. Okay. So when I want to find the perimeter, I'll just do 9 plus 17 plus 9 plus 17. Okay. You can use a calculator for that. I don't expect you to do that in your head. But take a second and work that out grab a calculator. You can use the calculator on your computer. You can use your phone.
You have to walk to him. He's going to stand right here. You have to walk to him. Okay? And then, you pretend you stand.
Harper.
First you dance.
You should have gotten 52 units. All right. All the way around the rectangle is 52 units. All right. The next one is area. Now, if you flip back here, we know that area is when you do the length times the width. So I'll take my length, or I'll take my width. It doesn't really matter which one you do first, but I'm going to take my width and multiply it by my length. You can use a calculator for that. You don't need to do that in your head. 9 times 17 is 153. Now remember, one of the notes that we took for area was that it's measured in units square units. So what that means is that when I write my answer, I'm going to write U squared. Okay? Now, remember with area, if I wanted, I could count all these boxes up. I could just 1, 2. Sorry, guys, right there. So units squared. For area, if I wanted, I could count all these boxes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That would take so long, okay? So that's why sometimes, especially with the bigger shapes, it helps just to multiply, okay? So we're going to do more examples on Wednesday and Thursday. You're going to get some more practice with this. All right, come back to the live class. Let me know what questions you have. And we will continue moving forward. Thank you, guys.